Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Sam Reid, who is CEO at SalvOcean. How are you today, Sam?
Morning, Zach. How are you?
Doing very well. I think the first question is obviously, what is SalvOcean and what do you do?
SalvOcean is a deep sea consultancy. We do surveys and salvages on shipwrecks for all sorts of reasons. A lot of the time it's environmental, a lot of the time it's because they've got precious cargo on it. And we've got within the team a coalition of experience that's had together 150 years of success doing it.
And what are we talking about here? Because it sounds a bit boy's own even from the start here. Are you, I suppose we don't want to talk about the Titanic, but are you looking for lots of gold, lots of treasure under the sea?
Well, the short answer is yes. Our clients often determine what it is we're looking for. We've got two clients at the moment who we're sort of working on various projects with, one of which is actually a sister ship to the Titanic, which sunk off the west coast of the US pre-First World War. And then our second client, Britannia's Gold, who we're also a spin out of, they and their research focus on ships that were sunk during the two world wars, most of whom were tasked with carrying precious metals across the US to pay for the war goods they were sending us to support our war effort.
So it's mostly searching for high value goods and commodities under the water, but I suppose there is a bit more to it than that in terms of the research and the other things that you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've also, it's not just cargo recovery. We're currently talking to a government body at the moment about finding a World War II submarine U-boat that the British sank and getting sort of any sort of corrosive, dirty materials off that. And our expertise goes to telling them where the ships are, where the U-boats are, telling them where the most likely place on board is, and validating their research to actually be confident that we're going to be able to get the results they want, and we can all win as a result.
Presumably, people who are listening to this will be thinking about your business model. You said you're a consultancy, so presumably governments and others will pay you for getting the information they need. But if it is the search for, 2 tons of gold or whatever it is, presumably you get a share of that. Is that how it works?
Yeah. If it costs 10 million to do a shipwreck, we'll normally charge 10% as a project management fee on that. We'll formulate all the budgets and that. So we do get paid for doing the work. But then if we are successful in validating what these clients believe they have is on board, we would also expect to see 10% of the offtake of any successful recovery.
And people listening to this again, obviously, as I said, it sounds a bit boy's own and quite glamorous. How do they get involved with SalvOcean? Is it a private company? Is it a listed company? How does that work?
We are a private company. We have done a sort of initial small rounds of fundraising so far. And ultimately, we're now looking to raise a further 100 to 150K to fund our short-term working capital needs while we await larger investment from elsewhere. And that's in the form of a bond. So obviously wouldn't affect anyone who invested now in terms of dilution or anything like that. Our intention was to be to stay private in the short term. However, obviously long-term exits and things like this might lead us to an IPO. However, this really is a dividend play going forward, because obviously any successful recoveries that we participate in, the proceeds will be paid to our shareholders via dividends.
So there is potentially, it's like it's a consultancy business under the seas, but there is the extra kicker there that you do get exposure to whatever is found underwater, and if that is a big prize, then you'll get a share of that big prize.
Absolutely. I mean, for example, one of our projects this year is a ship we believe to have a cargo of $100 million on it, gold and silver. Should we be successful in recovering that for the clients, SalvOcean's take would be in the region of $10 to $15 million. Our working capital requirements, once sorted, won't require anywhere near that, and so we would see much of that being paid out in dividends.
So maybe in a sort of an era where returns from mining and returns from many other areas as well tend to be rather small, this is a potential way of getting into exposure to a small company for investors, but potentially with now and again a big upside.
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to mining, we're not going to take 20 years to go and do it. We don't need to dig the mine. We don't need to go and actually get the product out. We ultimately pick it up off the seabed if it's there, and we sell it on the day to the people who do that, and they pay a spot price on the day, which ultimately means we can, in fairly short order, we'll know if we are successful and reward our shareholders for their participation.
Finally, speaking of shareholders, if somebody wants to be a shareholder, what do they do? Who do they get in contact with, etc.?
They can email me directly, which is sam.reid@salvocean.com, and we can take them from there. And obviously happy to answer any more specific questions they may have.
Sam Reid, CEO at SalvOcean, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Zach.